thought he must have been sitting.
Okay, it's 6:34, and we'll reconvene the Louisville Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of March 19th, 2013, and there is a quorum present. First item is approval of the minutes of the March 5th, 2013 meeting. Are there any additions, corrections? If not, may I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve. Sorry, Jared.
Already?
Go ahead.
Motion by Karen,
I'll second.
seconded by Jared. All those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Agenda item 3 is a public hearing on zoning. It's consideration of a zone change request from General Business GB to General Business GB and Estate Townhouse, ETH, on 60.89 acres located on the southwest corner of Cookie Lane and Windhaven Parkway. Further identified as Lot 1, Block A, Crossroads Center, South Addition, Phase 1. This request is being made by G&A Consultants on behalf of the property owner. This is planning case PZ 2013-0303. Paisha?
Good evening, Commissioners. Paisha Boomsma, Planning Administrator. This zoning request pertains to about 60 acres of property located just southeast of the intersection of the Sam Rayburn Tollway and the State Highway 121 business. Although the property appears to be surrounded mostly by the Castle Hills development, it is within the City of Louisville's jurisdiction, and it's not governed by the Denton County Freshwater District. Just to give you a little history on the property, it was downzoned originally in 2001 from light industrial to the general business that it is today, and also some multifamily. Then in 2005, the LISD came in and rezoned a portion of the multifamily site to public use for their campus over to the east of the site. To the north, across from Cookie Lane, is land that is vacant, zoned general business, and a senior living facility. To the south is FM 544. There's an existing residential development within Castle Hills, and the lots there are approximately 7,500 square feet in size, ranging in price from about $325 all the way up to $400,000. Although Castle Hills isn't required to maintain the city's zoning designations, they do designate the property consistent with what the categories are here in Louisville, and that site is Estate Townhome, which is the same as the proposed rezoning is going to be. On the western border is FM 2281, and then with future retail within the Castle Hills development along the western side of the property. The proposed development for this site calls for rezoning roughly 52 acres to Estate Townhome, with the remaining 8 staying general business. And those sites are located on both the southeast and southwest hard corners. The community would be residential and feature approximately 230 lots with minimum lot sizes of 5,500 square feet. They're proposing an amenity center with a clubhouse and a pool, and then a detention pond area and an open space at the southern portion of the site between the 2 commercial areas. The development is expected to be similar in nature with the Castle Hills directly to the south in terms of quality, pricing, and lot size. Staff is recommending that the public hearing be continued to April 2nd in order for us to obtain additional information on this site and share it with you. We would like to get some details regarding the elevations, the new lot configuration, and the community amenities that the developer is proposing. At this time, I'd be happy to go ahead and answer any questions you might have, and the project applicant and engineer is also here. Sorry.
I'm so sorry. We have a little change of plans, and I hate to get into Paisha's recommendation. We did receive the information that we needed from the applicant, and we have reviewed it. They have a presentation prepared for you, and they would like to, if the Planning and Zoning Commission is ready to take a look at the project and act on it, they prefer to do that. They're all here tonight, their engineer and the developer. And we have time between now and the council meeting to re-review their project, but they would like to make their presentation, and if at all possible, go ahead and take a vote on it.
Sure. Okay, if you'd step forward and sign in and state your name. And this is prior to the public hearing, correct? This is prior to opening a
Yes,
public
yes.
hearing.
Adam, can you switch over to the laptop, please? Page down here. Okay, just keep page up.
All right, thank you. Good evening. My name is Randy Rivera. I'm a land planner for G&A Consultants, just down the street here, 111 Hillside Drive in Louisville. And tonight I have with me Merdad Moyetti, the developer of the project. We're calling this Windale Meadows, and it's approximately 53 acres. You're gonna have to talk to
Mr. Chairman, my name is Merdad Moyetti, 1221 Highway 35E, Carrollton, Texas, 75006. I'm President of Centurion American, been in business 25 years, and basically here in front of you to go. We've done quite a few things in Louisville actually in the past, and pretty active right now in your downtown area. We're trying to redevelop some of the pieces that are in downtown, including the shopping center that we just put on a contract. This is a track, the owner of this track actually purchased 4 or 5 other tracks, and of all 5 tracks, we felt like this is the one that could do residential. The rest of them are all getting planned for box, industrial, and retail use. As far as our credentials, we've, and hate to boast or anything like that, but we put more lots on the ground than anybody else in Dallas-Fort Worth, according to Dallas Business Journal and Dallas Morning News. We've got about 70 active projects in Dallas-Fort Worth, anywhere from lot sizes of, lot prices of $25,000, $30,000 to $1 million lots in Preston Hollow. We actually built a lot in downtown area. We're currently building the Stoney Tower, which is a high-rise condominium project, the highest price condominium tower downtown, and we're redeveloping that. We've got projects in Westlake, Southlake, Flower Mound, 6 in Flower Mound to be exact, all around neighboring areas in your town. So, we're here to answer for our record and credentials, and I'm just here to answer any questions of what I need to, if you guys have any questions for me. I'm going to let Randy go through the presentation and show you the project.
Thank you, Don.
Okay, here is the aerial view, and I think Paisha did a good job of showing this early on of the site. The area in yellow is what we're talking about changing to estate townhome zoning from general business, which is what it is today. And the 2 corners will remain general business, and they're about 8 acres, 4 acres apiece. Here's a conceptual site plan of the proposed layout for the 52 acre subdivision. It's approximately 232 lots. We have some perimeter open space areas as well as internal open space areas, and it includes an amenity center. I'm going to use my mouse right here with a pool and a splash area, as well as a playground and stuff like that. Here's another internal open space area and some over here, and then a proposed detention pond on the south side of the property. Here's a blow-up of the amenity area and what we're proposing and how to improve that to provide an amenity for the community and for the residents to come and enjoy this. These are some of the examples Centurion has done in the area. This is an amenity area in Llano Springs. This kind of shows the building and the splash area as well as the pool in the background. And here's one for Williamsburg. I believe this is over on the east side of the Metroplex. And another example of just some of the quality of work that they do on the amenity areas and the pools and the pool houses as well. Here are some proposed elevations showing the detail of the floor plan. This is a 1-story product showing the cedar shutters, the cedar garage doors, and the roof pitch. And this is a 2-story product of something that's existing that they've done. It's very similar with the cedar doors and the stone face options, as well as the cedar post options. And again, just a different look. Some of the elevations are just pretty nice. And then we have incorporated some design guidelines within our proposed CC&Rs. One of those components is a requirement to have masonry on the side of the house facing the street, which will be 100%. The minimum square footage for each of these residences will be 2,000 for 1-story and 2,400 for the 2-story. The roof pitch requirement is H12 slope and the 30-year minimum comp roofs. All the garages have to have cedar doors, and no garage can be permanently enclosed or, renovated to be used for human habitation or a living space, stuff like that. Accessory buildings, no accessory structures or storage buildings shall be placed, until the Architectural Control Committee has a look at it, and they cannot be used for human habitation as well. And that concludes my presentation. And Murdad is here, and I'm here to answer any of the questions that you guys have about the zoning.
Commissioners, questions?
Chairman, one of the things that I want to point out is because of the land price, these lots are going to be in a $75,000 to $80,000 to $85,000 range. There's some 50-foot product and some 60-foot product. That in itself dictates the price of the house. The lowest price we would imagine would be in 280, 290s, all the way to 400. I just want to pass that on.
Is there any variances under consideration for streets, alleys, or anything?
We've just gotten our first submittal of the plat, so we are in the process of reviewing that right now, and it has yet to be determined if there's any type of variances that we will require for the plat.
I believe these lots are going to be front entry lots.
Right.
As you notice, they're showing the front garages with the cedars, so probably an alley variance would be one that you'd be looking at, waiver of alley. And I guess Murdad can elaborate on that more. These days, we're seeing a lot of the subdivisions that actually don't want alleys. The residents are preferring not to have alleys and have more backyard to use versus having an alley. Murdad, do you?
Front access utilities then?
Yes, sir. You will have a solid masonry wall around the whole project with stone enhanced columns and entryways.
What about a sound barrier between 30 to 121 and the Farm to Market Road on that northern
The
tip?
angle,
Yeah.
yeah. We're
Is
planning on, the way we're planning on dealing with that, for it not to look, we plan on berming that up and putting a 6-foot masonry wall on top of that, which would actually be about an 8 or 9 foot barrier, but not to have it, we don't want to have 8 or 9, we're going to allow the landscaping to do part of it and then put the wall on top of it, because without it, it'll just look like a prison.
Yeah, we don't want a prison.
Yeah.
I'm thinking if somebody has a $200,000 or $400,000 house, I really wouldn't, I don't think I want to back up to 121. Of course, mine backs up to 35, so what am I
You
thinking?
know, we
I don't
did,
hear the 35 in my house, but
we did quite a bit of studying, and the people that worked on the commercial side felt like those 2 corners were the best commercial corners for it. If I would have thought about it, I would have put one up there, but that's what they picked.
oh, they're probably dealing a little bit more with slope and all those topography things. And
Yes, and also they have the two 17 and 18 acre tracts next door that also belong to the same ownership, so they're planning on a lot of commercial on those 2, so.
Which lots are those?
There's 2 triangular pieces if you go north.
Yeah, I'm looking.
It's not shown on this slide, but they also belong to the same ownership, and they're planning on.
If you switch back on your button,
Mhm.
are your packets open?
Yeah, I'm open to that now.
We have this exhibit.
I'm totally
If you can-
computer literate, so you have to
Okay.
help me out.
If you can point them out, which lots you're,
Um,
which lots are owned by the other ownership?
This
Those two.
and this, yeah.
Okay.
Well, actually, that and that. There's another one here, I think, triangular, right?
Oh, you can't see it quite because of the legend, but I think I have.
I think we have an
Do
area.
you have a bigger exhibit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, can you show them maybe on this one? Is this
Well, I
large
think
enough?
this, well, can you
Here,
point
I'll
me?
point to it, yeah.
That one,
Where
is
my
one
mouse
of 'em,
is.
yes.
Oh, okay.
And I
This one.
believe this one also
Mhm.
is.
Thank you.
I think, I don't know if there's 2 triangles or just, I know this triangle is.
triangle and a trapezoid, how about that?
Yeah,
That may be a rhombus.
sorry, man, yeah, computer's not my, I don't know what my strengths are, but computer's not one of them.
And across the highway also, they own a piece of property.
Yes, they own
On the
that
other
way.
side.
The north
And the north side, exactly, right next to that large box that we have. And so we are basically keeping that land for more industrial development, which is more conducive. Of all the pieces that they own, this general business piece is less conducive to commercial development. Mainly access to 121 is restricted from 121 to this piece, and it's a very deep lot. And retail, that deep, is just simply not going to work.
Actually, we did come in first time with that 49 acres for residential, so you guys sent us home.
Anything else?
And they'll have an association, homeowner association?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate the presentation. At this time, we'll open up the public hearing. If there's anybody who wishes to speak on this subject, please step forward and do so. If not, may I have a motion? No, I guess I don't need a motion to close the public hearing. So, any further discussion from commissioners?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
The retention pond that they're proposing, will that be maintained by the city or the HOA?
It will be maintained by HOA. It's used as an amenity, so it will have an aeration fountain in it, and have some hard edges to it, and it'll be maintained properly.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Can I ask another?
Yeah.
Has the staff recommended this yet, or?
We will change our recommendation from what is listed on your staff report. In light of the exhibits that have been shown at the presentation this evening, we would support the rezoning of this project.
Okay. May I have a motion?
Make a motion to recommend approval.
Motion by Karen. Seconded by Steve. Those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item 3B is consideration of an ordinance amending the Louisville Code of Ordinances, Chapter 17 zoning, by repealing and replacing the chapter in its entirety, altering definitions, modifying, deleting, and adding uses within zoning districts, creating a special use permitting process, requiring a special use permit for various uses in different zoning districts, revising regulations related to accessory buildings, amending the regulation of non-conforming uses and structures, and change to home occupations. Mary?
Good evening. Let me get this going. Good evening, Commissioners. This evening, we're here to talk about a zoning ordinance amendment. Essentially, we are looking to repeal and replace the zoning ordinance in its entirety. The main reason for that is the introduction of a special use permit process, which we'll discuss. Staff has been working over the last year and a half or so on introducing a special use permit process to the zoning ordinance. Essentially, what this will do is allow the Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council an opportunity to evaluate property with special characteristics. The intent of the district is to allow a certain level of evaluation for uses that would typically be incompatible, but may be permissible with certain conditions and restrictions. Currently, what we have is a specific use zoning process. This will be a special use permit process, which would be less permanent in nature. Our current process, as I said, a specific use zoning, we only have 8 different types of uses listed in that category. We have essentially 35 zoning districts, which are cumulative zoning process. The special use permit process, or SUP, I'll just refer to it as SUP from now on, will be an overlay district on the existing zoning categories. Here we have a comparison chart with the differences between the special use permit and the specific use zoning. The SUP would cover a greater number of uses versus the specific use zoning, which has only 8. The SUP would affect a more limited area. For example, if we have a use in a particular shopping center, with an SUP, you can go down to that specific unit within that shopping center, versus the specific use zoning, you would have to rezone the entire property. It is an overlay, zoning overlay, so your underlying zoning would remain. It is less permanent in nature. You can put an expiration date on it. One of the biggest changes or things to it would be that it would require an engineering site plan. A specific use zoning also requires us an engineering site plan. So the special use permit process, you would have to file for it. For example, you would have to submit an engineering site plan. We would treat it just as we do for zoning cases. So we would require the same notification process as a zone change. All properties within 200 feet would be notified. There's a newspaper public hearing notice. It does go before the Planning and Zoning Commission and City Council for review and recommendation. Conditions and regulations. The proposed SUP would allow P&Z and Council to require certain conditions and regulations for approval. We would try to make these conditions reasonable. Minor amendments could be approved at the staff level, but staff would not be allowed to change certain things like the amount of parking or setback requirements. We would be able to amend certain things, for example, tweak the building location on a site. But otherwise, if there's any larger amendments that need to be made to the SUP, it would have to go through the entire SUP process again. And that kind of matches our specific use zoning as well. Or specific use zoning, if you're trying to do amendments to it, you would have to go through the specific use zoning process again. Conditions and regulations. The whole purpose of having the special use permit is to allow staff and P&Z and council to see if the use complements or is compatible with the surrounding uses and community facilities. What we're trying to do is contribute, enhance, and promote the welfare of the citizens and the properties in the area. And it would have to conform in all of the respects to zoning regulations and standards. The types of conditions and regulations that the SUP would require or involve would be regulation of screening walls, fences, looking at the uses. Is that use, would it be compatible there? Are there too many uses of that same kind in that area? We could require the property to be platted. Uses that have, where we think may have detriment or impact, we could require a traffic impact analysis. Another feature would be allowing the regulation of building materials and textures and architectural features, in addition to regulating landscaping. So we might have a use that, might be compatible in an area, but we might require them to provide more landscaping to soften the appearance. Currently, we have the specific use zoning district. As I said, we have about 8 uses there: bed and breakfast, cemeteries, broadcast transmission towers, the list continues. A lot of these uses currently listed under specific use zoning are proposed to be removed from the specific use zoning category and put into a special use permit process. Like the broadcast transmission towers, where now we may have like a shopping center that has a cell tower. Well, in order to get that cell tower in that GB zoning or something, they would had to do special use or specific use zoning. And so you've got on our zoning map a little square with the release area and its specific use zoning. What this would allow is we'll remove it from the specific use zoning and put it in SUP. So they can get an SUP permit for that same cell tower. A lot of the uses listed, we've gone ahead and just added an SUP process in the different zoning categories where they fall. We're trying to delete other unusual uses, limited in number and clearly not allowed in other zoning categories from the specific use zoning changes. Some of the proposed special SUP examples, a lot of these, or all of these uses are already listed in different zoning categories. What we've gone and done with the SUP process is just gone through and within the various zoning categories added an SUP requirement. So for example, bed and breakfast. It's now allowed in some residential categories, whereas before it was straight in the specific use zoning. And we still have some use requirements attached to it. You can't have more than 5 bedrooms. You can't have, we've added some use regulations. You can't stay there more than 14 consecutive days. We've looked at other uses like electric substations. They're kind of all over the map in different zoning categories. This would still allow that to continue, but it would require an SUP process to go through. And we've just got a list, and this list is not all-inclusive. There's more things, it's just kind of give you an example. For example, the shooting range that we had that went through a specific use zoning would now, with the SUP process, you could do it as an SUP for that particular unit. The other major change that we've looked at while we were changing the zoning ordinance is to amend the non-conforming uses section. The main changes that we are proposing, that if a non-conforming use is discontinued, the property may not be occupied with another non-conforming use. We have shortened the time frame on that condition to 3 months. And the other change would be a non-conforming structure vacant for more than a year must comply with all GDO requirements. The third change we've done regarding accessory buildings. Currently, any accessory building, we're talking about residential accessory buildings. Residential accessory buildings under 120 square feet, no permit, no building permit required. Nothing's changed in that regard. Once you get above the 120 to 250 square foot accessory building, there's a max number that you can have, 1, and you're required to get a building permit. And there's an exterior finish material requirement, so it must match compatible with a primary structure or masonry. When you get to 251 to 500 square feet, there's a minimum lot size requirement that you must have, 7,500 square feet. Max number of accessory buildings would be 2. You would require a permit. And again, the materials must be compatible with a primary structure or masonry. Once you get above 500 square feet, the minimum lot size requirement is 12,000 square foot. The maximum number of accessory buildings is 2, and you would require a special use permit. Once you go from 500 to 800, again, the maximum number is 2. Minimum lot size would be 18,000 square feet, and then you have the exterior finish material requirement. The one thing, one of the major changes to this section would be accessory dwelling units. The minimum lot size would be 18,000 square feet, and you could have 1 accessory dwelling unit, but you must go through the special use permit process. that is the end of the presentation. Do you have any questions?
Okay, thank you, Mary. Most of our questions, concerns were addressed in the workshop prior to this meeting, but this is an opportunity for the commissioners to weigh in and any discussion you might have before we do a vote.
Well, I'd like to reiterate my appreciation to staff for developing such a useful tool, I think, for staff, for the commission, and for the council. Really give us the opportunity to ensure compatibility as we're going through the redevelopment process. We can ensure compatibility with the new developments that are coming in, make sure they meet the needs of the surrounding community. Again, give additional notification to neighbors to make sure they know what's going on and adjacent property, give them an opportunity to speak for or against any new development. So I'm definitely in favor of recommending approval for the zoning ordinance change.
Okay, anyone else?
I'll say it again. I enjoyed the presentation, Mary, staff. I know it's been a great deal of time working on this. But my concern is the non-conforming use, shrinking it down from 1 year to 3 months. I think it's just too, not beneficial. So, to the landowners.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank you,
Karen.
Jim.
Anyone else? All right, at this time, I would ask for a motion for recommendation.
Make a motion to approve the changes to the ordinance.
Motion by Jared,
Second.
seconded by Michael. Those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Sorry, for technicality reasons, can we
Public
open
hearing?
and, yes, can we open the public hearing, please?
Okay. At this time, we'll open up a public hearing. If anyone in the audience wishes to step forward, please do so and sign in and state your name.
Since there's nobody here,
Having no one come forward, I now close the public hearing.
Need a do-over on the vote.
Could we redo the motion, please?
Make a motion to approve the zoning ordinance change.
Second.
Seconded by Michael. All those in favor signify aye.
Aye.
Nay?
aye. Nay.
Nay. Okay. And motion carries with one nay. Any other business before the committee? Okay, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay. Motion made and seconded. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Okay. Well, meeting adjourned.